Today it's time to make eggnog, some Tiki Eggnog. And this is an updated recipe to an eggnog that I made last year that's inspired by Jeffrey Morgenthaler's tequila sherry eggnog. That's an amazing eggnog, and if you want to make that, I'll leave a link to it, to his website, where you can check out how to make that tequila sherry eggnog. So what makes this tiki? Not too much really, mainly rum, allspice ram, and some spices, cinnamon, nutmeg, and vanilla to be exact. This eggnog does contain raw eggs, and raw or fresh eggs, even those with clean, uncracked shells, may contain bacteria called salmonella that can cause foodborne illnesses, often called food poisoning. FDA has put regulations in place to prevent contamination of eggs on the farm and during shipping and storage.
But consumers also play a key role in preventing illness linked to eggs. Protect yourself and your family by following these safe handling tips
when buying, storing, preparing, and serving eggs or foods that contain them.
All right, so anytime you make an eggnog, there is a risk involved, but that risk can be reduced in two ways. And I'm not a scientist here. This is just some general knowledge. First, it's ABV. The more alcohol, the safer. Now, safer in regards to food poisoning, but obviously not safer for other reasons. The second is time. The more time the alcohol has to come into contact with the eggs in the eggnog, the safer it becomes. So an eggnog stashed in your fridge for a year or even more is safer to consume than one that you would make right now. If you want to know more about this, there's a great video from Adam Ragusa. There's a link in the description where he gets a recipe and talks to a microbiologist from Rockefeller University about raw eggs in eggnog. Now, there is no official scientific study that is cited, but they did do a test and they found that eggnog, which they added salmonella to and let age, killed all of the bacteria in it. One of the things we can do that might help reduce any possible bacteria is add the rum to the eggs first. This is basically like cooking them, but I would be a little bit cautious here, as one of the rums I call for in this recipe is OFTD, which is 69% ABV, and it might actually cook the eggs and leave a stringy, gross mess. I haven't tested that and I don't want to, so I'll add the other booze first, and then the cream and the milk, and then I'll put in the overproof rum. And to make it easy, we're gonna build this entire thing in a blender. Now, today's recipe calls for milk and cream, and anytime this comes up, people ask about using half and half instead. Now, this exact recipe is not half cream to half milk in the ratios, but when a recipe calls for that, people always ask about using half and half instead. But they're not the same. In the United States, at least, half and half is between 10.5 to 18% milk fat, and that's by law. I typically use this Clover brand half and half, which is local to me, and it comes in at 12% milk fat, at least through my calculations. Heavy cream, by law, has a minimum of 36% milk fat. So if you halved that heavy cream and used a skim milk or a fat-free milk instead as your other half of it, you'd be at 18% milk fat, which would be the highest amount of any half and half by law. But most half and halves are like the one I use, and they're not that high in milk fat. And when I use cream and milk, I'm usually using whole milk. So my total milk fats are over 20% usually in these recipes. So 12% milk fat for half and half, and 20-ish% for half milk and half cream. That's why we don't use half and half in recipes like this. Now, for this recipe, I haven't actually broke down the percent of milk fat, which brings me to the main reason that I'm going to use cream and milk, and that's what the original recipe calls for. Now let's go ahead and build this in the blender, starting with our 6 eggs put at a low speed. Now we're going to add in 5 ounces of rum, and you can use any rum you want. I'm using 2.5 ounces here of Appleton Estate and 2.5 ounces of Chairman's Reserve. Next, I'm going to add in 4.5 ounces of an Amontillado sherry. I'm following this up with 1 ounce of allspice ram, and this is my own homemade allspice ram. I did a video for that. Link will be above and in the description as well. Next, I'm adding 225 grams of sugar. If you're using granulated white sugar like I am, that's about 1 1/4 cups. This is the only time you need to weigh anything. Now we need 18 ounces of whole milk and 12 ounces of heavy cream. I just combined them already, so I have 30 ounces total. We're going to slowly add that into our eggnog. Now I'll add in 4 ounces of my OFTD overproof rum. Now it's time for the spices and the flavorings. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla paste, or you could use half of a fresh vanilla bean scraped, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of freshly grated nutmeg, and 1 teaspoon of freshly grated cinnamon. Now I'll just turn this on low to let all those spices combine. I do like to strain this off to get any big pieces of cinnamon or nutmeg, and also in case there are any stringy bits of the egg, it gets filtered out through a fine mesh strainer. Final yield is about 1.75 liters, so you got yourself a full handle of Tiki Eggnog. So let's try it, but right now it's not going to be at its best. It's not quite cold. It hasn't been in the fridge for a while, but this is something that I think tastes better after several days, probably about a week. And then how long it lasts you? Indefinitely, really. So let's try it. It is so good. Out of everything I've ever drank or I've ever worked up, this is my favorite. It's elements of tiki and the spices, but it's not too much. Like, you don't have to tell someone this is tiki. It just be your rummy eggnog. And I'm not taking full credit for this either. This is built on the foundation of the Jeffrey Morgenthaler Clyde Commons tequila sherry eggnog, and I know he changes it up a lot, but it's using the specs of that recipe and dialing down the Amontillado sherry, which is great to add this nuttiness to it, but it's more in the background here, and then making it more rum forward. You can add more rum here too. It's not super strong, and most eggnogs are not. People think that there should be like 15 to 20% ABV. They're usually around 10 or even less. And this one, it doesn't come across as too rummy. You don't have to be like super into rum to appreciate this. The spices are all there, which is what I love. Those are like my favorite spices. And the thing about the vanilla, I use a couple different vanillas, and it's not because that's the best way to do this, but I used to make homemade ice cream, and I would always employ like a triple vanilla technique using an extract, beans, and a paste, because I had those, and vanilla used to be dirt cheap. So I like to have those layers of vanilla. So you might have a vanilla that you love on its own that's better than these, and that's fine. But I like using paste because it's easier, using the extract so it's not just that one vanilla extract note. That helps. That's kind of the main thing that comes through with the nutmeg and cinnamon in the background. And it's plenty eggnoggy without being too much egg. So you can make this, and then if you decide that it's not strong enough, you can add more and put it in the fridge. It will mellow out over time, even though right now I think you can chill this down and have this right now, but it will sort of mellow out, and the flavors will all meld together more the longer you keep it in your fridge. So that's it for this one, Tiki Eggnog. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like below. If you want to support this channel more, you can check out my Patreon page. Otherwise, just subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you on the next one.